All right, so we are live now. So I'm going to do one thing before we start talking. I'm going to share this on my personal Facebook page. So maybe some other guys will get on here. And at the beginning of every one of these, it has a video clip of me saying, "All right, let me share this to my Facebook thing. All right, come join in on the live fun. We are talking about chasing dreams. Yo! Exclamation point." So me trying to sound cool. So all right, man. So hey, no one's watching right now. So let's just do it. Let me kind of lay the groundwork for anyone that does watch this video. Joe is a guy that I stumbled across his YouTube channel. I don't even know how it happened. I think I might. No, I don't know how I found you, Joe. It just kind of showed up on my feed. I messaged or I commented on a couple of his videos. I've got a YouTube channel. We basically have the exact same YouTube channel. I do pressure washing and window cleaning, and then you do like interior type of cleaning, so carpet cleaning and other types of like I guess you focus mostly on commercial, it looks like, and we can kind of get into that in a minute. But so we've been kind of playing tag, on YouTube, commenting back and forth, saying, "Hey, let's get together, let's do something." And tonight the stars kind of aligned. We both had a minute, and I thought, hey, how cool would it be for two guys in the same boat, both going after our dreams, both trying to make something happen with our life? Let's just get on here. We'll talk it out. If no one watches, hey, here, we become friends and get to know each other. And if someone watches and learns something, great. So let's just pretend that no one's watching and go from there. So, Joe, tell me about yourself. Tell me where you live, and then just kind of tell me why you're doing what you're doing. Tell me about your business, how long you've been doing it. I think you said you're married, and, just open up, bro. No rules here.
So I live near Portland, Oregon, and I started my business like 4 years ago. I don't know the exact time, but about 4 or 5 years ago I started it. And basically, I started out, the first service I offered was pressure washing and window washing, mainly window washing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all residential. And my brother and I, we would just go door to door, passing out flyers. And that's really where it all started. So that's why it's interesting to watch your channel, because I can remember you guys are going through some of the same things I was going through years ago. And over time, my business morphed. We have a different climate up here, obviously, and it gets really rainy in the winter time, and you can't really wash windows for several months during the winter. So I decided that I wanted to transition into more commercial cleaning and working all indoors. And so that's what I've been doing for the last several years.
All right, cool. So you several years. I didn't realize you'd been doing it that long. So what 5 years, 10 years? I mean,
about 5. I don't know. Let me see. July 13th, 2013 was my first job that I ever did.
So how old are you? You look awfully young to have been doing it for a while. So how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 31 right now.
31? All right.
Yeah,
well, unlike me, you look younger than you are. I'm 39, and everyone always thinks I'm like in my mid 40s, so that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. So, do you enjoy doing what you're doing now more, or is it just more of so it's just a better business model for you?
I enjoy it more because I'm not out in the hot heat all the time, and I'm not up on crazy high ladders, and I don't have my crew up on big ladders, so it's a lot safer. I don't necessarily like being in people's houses all the time. And I didn't really enjoy having to knock on people's doors and stuff like that. Because every once in a while...
Hey, we got our first live viewer. I don't know who you are, but you win a prize. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
So I forgot what I was saying.
You said you didn't. Yeah, you said you didn't enjoy going into people's homes and stuff and knocking on the doors and things like that.
Yeah, every once in a while I would bump into someone that I knew and I didn't know it was their house. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, can I wash your windows? And
Yeah.
it's a little bit awkward. I mean, in the back of my mind, I know, well, I'm making $100 an hour, which is probably more than this person, so I shouldn't feel bad about it. But at the
Yep.
same time, you kind of feel like a kid with the lawnmower going around your
Hmm.
neighborhood, you know?
You know, it's cool. You said that. It's Alfred. Hey, man. Thanks for being here, bud. So I don't know if you can see the comments on your side, John, but Alfred likes to join us here. So, um, you know, you mentioned that, and I think it was your most recent video that you did, and you had talked about, you know, kind of like say the appearance and the outward looking appearance of being a guy that's an entrepreneur chasing your dreams. You know, you obviously you see an end game. I don't know if you're familiar with this term. It's not really unique, but people say you got to have your why, you know, and if you have your why in place, it can help you push through the hard times. So I'm sure you've got your why, your thing of that you're working for. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck right now. You know, it doesn't mean that, you know, when other people have the things that you're spending your money on equipment, other people are spending their money on vacations, is kind of how you put it on that video.
Yeah.
Is that still a struggle to this day for you on an emotional level? Because it has been for me. I've gotten over it myself. I've kind of got to the point where it's like, I don't care. I'm old. I'm hairy. I'm doing my thing, you know. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. I'm going after the things that make me happy. I mean, where are you at in that emotional journey right now?
I feel like it's still hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking about in that video, I've got a really nice brand new car that I bought, and I wanted it for a long time. And it was kind of cool to show off that I was able to finally get that car.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't remember if I mentioned this in the video or not, but when I was starting my business, I had some other goals besides looking successful and enjoying my money. Like my main thing was get to the point where my business could support myself so that I could quit my day job.
Mm-hmm.
And that took a long time to get to that point. And then it was get to the point where my wife can quit her job. Then it's get to the point where we can live in a bigger house so that I have some garage space and I can store my tools and my vehicles and have a place for the dogs to run around. So that took some time. So by the time I was able to finally get my car, I felt like I really earned it. And it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like a trophy. Like finally I can buy something for myself that is awesome.
Yeah.
And now that we've been thinking about getting rid of the car, that's kind of an upsetting thing to go through. Uh,
And cars
we're,
especially, right? Because we're like a car culture, so it's like double
yeah,
whammy on that. Yeah.
yeah, and so, and I think a lot of people that I surround myself with, my friends and family, they care about me and they want me to be successful. And if they see me get rid of this nice car and go back to an old Honda Accord,
Mm-hmm.
they've already started to make comments because I'm
Yeah.
already telling them that I'm going to get rid of it, and they don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for me, I can't put my money into a depreciating asset like this if I want to reach the goals that I want in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in working 45 years for someone else just so that I can make
Make
car
them rich.
payments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. So what is first off, first off, I'd just say, you know, I absolutely can relate with you on that. Uh and again, that's if you've watched many of my videos, and I don't know if you have, but I'm a very emotionally driven guy, you know, and that's kind of like what I really tried to share the most. It's like it frustrates me that the couple of videos I've made about how I do my work are like some of the most viewed things, and then when I'm sharing my sharing my heart, people are like, "We don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
Show us a window cleaning job, you know.
Yeah.
But but that is what it is. But you know, that's one of those things that, you know, see, I was like in kind of middle management, you know, so I wasn't on the executive board, but you know, I was the top of local management, you know, so I had like regions and stuff that would report to me. And when I got back into the field doing physical work again, you know, that was probably my get rid of the car thing for you. You
Yeah.
know, because I was growing up, I say growing up, you know, like in my 20s, you know, I didn't go to college. I I didn't show a lot of aspiration. I was really a bad employee until around 28 years old. And I got a physical job. Had physical jobs, got another one, that paid me a little bit of money. And at that point in my life, something switched and I became a good employee, got a little drive. And then over the course of like a 6-year period, I went from making like $11 an hour driving a forklift to a 6-digit income with the title vice president and general manager of this region. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And like all my family and my friends, they were all like, holy cow, you're not the Bob we knew before. And they were bragging on me and people were proud of me. I was the TV guy. I was on TV in the Tulsa market doing commercials. So all my friends from the small town there, they were like, oh my God, I know that guy, and then fast forward just a few years. And now I'm begging people to let me clean their windows on their storefront of a failing store. I'm hoping the failing store owner will give me some money, and that was really hard for me too. And so this last year for me has been so transformational, just in many, many ways. And, I love hearing from you where that's a struggle for you in the sense that you share it. Because to me, I value that. I value people that are willing to be vulnerable and not be the guy that says, hey, this is how you can make $10,000 a day doing this stuff. It's easy. I'm balling, I like someone like you that can be real, and I trust someone like you that can be real. So, kind of what's next for you at that point? So I'm just going to assume the car's going to go away. I don't know that you've made that decision yet, but, what's your, like, are you okay with talking numbers on the business? Like I'm real open about our revenue and stuff like that. If you're not, that's fine. I don't mean to pry too much. Let me ask it this way. What kind of goals do you have, say, over the next, say 6 months and then the next 12 months? Not the plan on how you're going to get it done, but the goal and what you're wanting to achieve to maybe fix some of these issues as far as the car thing or whatever. And can it be done in that amount of time?
Yeah, well, the biggest goal that my wife and I have is actually moving out of this house and getting something that we want a little bit more. We want more land. We kind of want to live kind of a homesteading lifestyle where, we're just kind of removed from the suburbs, I guess, more peaceful, more self-reliant type situation. So that's really what we want to focus on right now. I want to go back to something you said earlier about people not really paying attention to the emotional aspect of the business, like your stories that you would share. When you have a corporate job, you have all the systems and processes in place that someone else has already figured out, and they've already taken all the risk and put the brain power into it. So all you have to do is just kind of plug in like a cog in the machine. So you don't really have to deal with a whole lot of emotion, except, you might have a boss who's an ass, makes you do things you don't want to do. And there's an emotional aspect of that.
Those exist.
But really, in the corporate world, it's pretty emotionless. It's just numbers, and you show up and do the same thing the same way every single day. Even if you're in upper management or middle management, that's basically what it is. But when you're a business owner, most of your work, I think, is emotional. There is some repetition, and you do create your own systems and processes, but you have to go through these times of self-doubt and times of not knowing what the next best move is. And that really does wear on you in a way that I never felt when I was working at a Fortune 500. So,
bro, I almost feel like I think we're connected, man, somehow. It's like the things coming out of your mouth. Obviously, I'm like the talker. I know you share, but I'm like the talker between the two of us. You're the more like inwardly reflective guy, that thinks things through before he says it. But holy cow, it's like you're reading my mail. Everything about the corporate world. Now, I had, in case he ever watches this, Bill Rose, my boss. He was a COO of a particular company. Best boss I ever had, Bill. You're amazing. Unfortunately, you weren't my only boss in the corporate world that I ever had. And with the exception of him, they kind of sucked, and you're right. The only emotion you ever really felt there was like fear. Now like
Yeah.
working for Bill, who's actually a friend of mine. He lives in Lake Mary now. We both ended up coming to Florida after that company went away. But like where Lake Mary is. You don't live here. Never mind. But Bill lives close by, so he's about an hour from me. But there's no upside to it. When the emotion you feel when you're in the corporate world is just, hey, you sucked. Because when you do good, you get an email that says, nice job. But when you're doing bad, you get 10 emails a day. Why isn't this number what it should be? Why isn't that number what it should be? Why isn't this number what it should be? And it's just like there's no win. It's not your thing. You're not building it. It's too large for them to even try to make it like a team effort or anything. So it's just like, you're right. You're just a cog in the machine. And
dude, it's not real, man.
Yeah.
That's not how humans function. We have a spectrum of emotions that we're meant to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And as a business owner, you get to feel all of that.
Yeah.
And part of the thing that sucked for me for working in those types of jobs before was you just show up every day, you do the same thing, you don't feel anything, you're just totally numb. Then you come home and you just get drunk so you can forget about that fear that you felt during the day. And then you suck it up and you do it again, and it's so bland and boring. I couldn't stand it.
Well, the only thing I did, I didn't get drunk. I'd gone on medication. I didn't get drunk to get over the fear. That's not why I did. But I was taking medication for anxiety when I was in the corporate world. There at the end, for the last year, and when I stepped down out of it, it's like now with this business, we would both agree there's a whole new level of fear, right? But it's different. But I don't take that medication anymore because now I know basically it's like, that you have everything in your own control, which is scary because it's like, you don't have all those systems to fall back on. You don't have the corporate funds to fall. If you have a terrible sales month in the corporate world, you still get paid, things like that, where that's not the case for you and me right now. And
no, you don't. If you have a bad couple of months, you don't eat.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But on the flip side, it's like, I'm chasing my dream. And the time where it really dawns on me most of the time. Now, today was a cool day. So like I was wearing the company shirt, and everything, but today I wasn't really working. I just had a lot of odd and end things I had to go get done, ran a couple of quotes, and I wore flip-flops. I'm like, it's February. It's beautiful here in Florida. It was like 81 degrees. And I'm like, and I'm driving around in flip-flops, just doing my thing. I thought, okay, I had one of those moments where I'm like, this is what it's about. But it's like every night when I lay down, my wife, she always watches like a cooking show or something like that. So if I can't get her to watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'll pull my phone out and I'll play like Exploding Kittens, or I'll get on Reddit, or just something stupid. But I'm laying there and it'll dawn on me. I'm like, I don't have any anxiety right now because I know, because even when like the work's not lined up, it's like, I know that I've developed a flyer design that works. So if I don't have work tomorrow, I'm going to get out there. We're going to hand stuff out. It's going to generate revenue. To quote one of my favorite movies, all these things that we've done that we found that work, and all the people that go before us and said, here's the blueprint on how to do it. We don't have to invent it. We just got to do it. My quote that I love is from Remember the Titans. And he says, it's just like Novocaine. Give it time. It'll work, and we just got to do the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I guess it's still that kind of, there's maybe some of that dull monotony, but I don't know. I love it. I'm a happy man. I'm not making tons of money right now. I'm making a third of what I used to make on my personal income, but I wouldn't, if one of my old bosses called me and said, we've got a $200,000 a year salary for you. You got to show up tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do it. I just would not do it because that's not the life I want.
Yeah. I have something to say on that note. I turned down a $20,000 a month job last year.
Oh, wow.
I turned it down. But I'll tell you about that in a minute. You were saying you're walking around in flip-flops and you were enjoying your day today. I had the same experience, sort of. Like, I woke up early. no alarm clock going off. I say early, it was like 8 in the morning. No alarm clock. I just woke up when I wanted and went in, made myself some eggs and bacon, just casually enjoying my morning. I went out, I went to the gym. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I
Hmm.
was just like looking around, like, man, this place is empty because everyone's at work,
Yeah.
and I don't have to do that. And it's
Mhm.
just an incredible feeling to have that freedom to be able to do something like that.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah,
Uh,
what were you going to say about the job?
and I was thinking about making a video about this, so I might do that
Oh, okay.
also. But basically, it's this big property management company, and they had 19 buildings that they wanted me to clean every night. And I was really excited about it because that's the biggest offer that I've ever had to do an estimate. And I walked in and I met with the guy and I told him, I said, this is bigger than anything I've ever had to do. I've never had to take on 20 buildings for one customer before.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I can figure it out if you'll give me the opportunity. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Just go ahead and turn in the bid and it's yours. So I was like, okay, cool. This
Yeah.
guy's going to give me $250,000 a year and he's just going to not even think about it. That's awesome. And so I was like really excited about it. But I started thinking that one person would have too much control over me. I would have too much revenue coming from only one customer.
Yeah.
And there's a cost associated with delivering that service. I have to
Hmm.
hire more employees. I'd have to get an office. I'd have to buy more tools. I'd have to probably lease some equipment.
Hmm.
And my costs of doing business would go up to accommodate delivering that amount of service. I
Hmm.
don't know if I explained that right, but I think you know what I mean.
No, yeah, your variable costs go, you get more revenue
Yes,
and you
yes,
got
yeah,
more expense. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and my fixed costs would go up as well.
Hmm.
And so if I ever lost that customer, that could put me totally out of business.
Hmm.
Even though I have all these other accounts and I have other services I'm offering, they would just have too much control over me. So, uh, so yeah, I just had to
How
turn it in.
hard was that? How long did it take you to actually say no to that thing?
It was actually not that difficult.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew that I probably shouldn't have more than 20% of my revenue coming from any one customer.
Yep.
You want to diversify just like you diversify your stock portfolio.
Hmm.
And so once I realized that, it wasn't that hard. And plus, I knew it was going to be a ton of work to do. And so I was kind of excited not to have to do all that work and figure it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
That's cool. That's, you know what? There's a lot of people, and who knows? I don't know that that was or wasn't the right decision.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I like your thought process there, and I'm actually kind of with you. It's like I think we have to. There's two things. There's more than two things. There's 1,000 things we need to do, for these long term goals to come about. But a couple of things that tie right into this. One of them being what you just said. Sometimes you can grow too fast, and you're right. We don't want one person to be control of everything, because then if you lose that one, you lose it all. But the other one is, I think people, they don't stay focused on, um, you know the phrase I hear is people say that you should go deep, not wide.
Yeah.
The riches are in the niches, or whatever other,
Yeah.
phrases we want to throw out there. But I see a lot of guys that like doing what I do, and I don't know if you see it in your industry, but I'll see a guy with a truck and it'll say pressure washing, window cleaning, lawn care, uh, small engine repair, freaking, and housekeeping, and all these things. I'm like, how in the world are you going to grow? Now, on the flip side, it's probably not fair for me to look at them and say, how are you going to do that? Because not everybody has the same why as I do. Like, I don't want to have a lot of employees for the sake of having them, because frankly, at one point I had 65 people under me, and the people were great, but it sucks. I heard a guy say, I don't know if you know who Chris Lamborghinis is.
I don't know.
He's big in the window cleaning world. Okay, so you may not know him, but he had a really, really large window cleaning company. But he's talking about employees, and he says, every person has like two major issues a month.
Yeah.
So for every employee you have two major issues a month
Yeah,
because
that's true.
everyone
Yeah.
they have you deal with. So if you have 10 employees, you're dealing with 20 major issues a month. And so I don't want to add employees for the sake of adding them, but I know for me to get where I want to go, I can't stay owner operator, or like I've got my son Caleb that's my partner. The two of us can't do uh, we really can't do the revenue that I want for me.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I also don't want to physically work my whole life either. I want to get out of the field and move on with that. So, but but let's get back to what we were talking about. We got a little sidetracked. So you said that you're wanting to get out of the house, get into another place. What kind of do you have any specific business? Like, what kind of things are you not achieving in the business right now that you want to achieve? And how many do you have any crews working for you, or is it all you right now, or we didn't even establish that?
Yeah. No, it's just me and my wife.
Okay.
Actually, this kind of touches on something you just said, and I know we'll get back to the other thing in a second, but um, when I was doing window washing, like you are, I got my team up to 15 people,
Oh wow.
and that was a cool feeling
Hmm.
to be at home and being on Reddit or something on YouTube, and I have my sales guy being like, "Yeah, I just closed another deal," and I'm like, "All right, cool." And I hang up the phone. The service guy calls me, "Hey, the sales guy just called. He said he's got another deal. We're going to put that on the calendar for this day." And I'm out of the whole process. People are
Hmm.
closing deals, and then the team's going out there and doing the job, and I never even met the customer. Like all I did was just pick up a check,
Hmm.
and that was a cool experience. But I got, like you said, you get overwhelmed by problems,
Hmm.
and I didn't have the systems and processes in place to maintain a crew of that size. And I got a couple of bad seeds, and they start drama, and they kind of demotivate everybody. And I yelled at people when I shouldn't have because I got too stressed because I have a lot on my plate and I wasn't capable of handling it.
Yeah.
And you make somebody cry, and then they don't want to come back to work the next day, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
frustrating because you don't handle it. Like it's that it's your fault. You know that you take 100% accountability, and when it, um, I don't know, it just kind of wears on you all the
Yeah.
pressure of having a big team, and I just couldn't handle it, and so I really scaled back, and now it's mainly my wife and I doing all the work, and I really like that because I get to spend a lot of time with her, and I feel like it's pretty good for our relationship in that respect. And there's very low pressure. I've got a bunch of nightly accounts that we go and do. We're going to go do one in a couple minutes here, but it's a place that we do 2 times a week, so we know exactly what we're going to do. We know what our jobs are, and we just hop out of the car and do it. And the whole night we just get to talk and laugh and sometimes fight, but not very often.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but I like doing it like that for right now. And I might grow. I might decide to change things in the future, but as far as it goes, I mean, I can make six figures with very low pressure and low stress,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool. It meets my needs.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I respect that. I respect that. So different
yeah,
strokes.
yeah, yeah. One thing I found out though, since you're kind of going through this process, um, the best way I've found to hire people, and I will say I do have some people that help me out. Like if I'm doing a big job, I
Hmm.
do have a list of guys that I can call, but they're just kind of like on a part time basis.
Hmm.
Um, but the best way I found to hire and train people, especially my first person, is to work with them for a long period of time. And like I got this guy Ben, who I have worked with a lot. Basically, he'll ride with me. He'll do everything with me. He'll go get supplies. He could go do sales calls with me, and he hasn't done a lot of that. But I'm trying to think of like a specific person I talk about. My brother. Okay, let's go back. I
Okay.
had my brother working with me, and he did everything. He would knock doors with me. He would go out and do the window jobs with me. He would go get the supplies. He would go with me to rent equipment or whatever. And literally, from when we started working in the morning till we stopped working at night, he was with me doing everything. So he saw how I worked. He saw what my work ethic was like. He saw what my integrity was like, and the level I held myself to, my accountability level that I held myself to. And he learned to trust me and want to put in that hard work and kind of match what I would do every day. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually we got to the point after a month or two of working together, I could get to the point where I would trust him as well. And then he could go out and do his own jobs and I could send him out into the field and we had that relationship. And I found that that's the best way to bring on the first couple of employees because you don't really have a culture established yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very important to spend as much time as possible with those people so that you trust them and they trust you and you guys are in sync with everything. Because other times I've hired just a sales manager and I'm like, hey, you know how to wash windows and I'll work with you a couple of jobs, but you're in charge of everybody. You have to hire employees and it's up to you. And man, I turned into the enemy because I wasn't connected to my team. So I'd show
Yeah.
up to the team meetings and I'm like, hey, these are our goals for the day. We're doing this many windows. We're doing this many houses. This is what we're going to do for the week. And they saw me as just kind of like this guy who's totally unreasonable and unfair and I'm pushing them too hard and I'm never
Mm-hmm.
happy. And there was a disconnect and I wasn't part of my own team.
Yeah.
It wasn't my team, but I thought it was because I owned the company.
Okay. You know what? I had a extremely similar, dare I say, the same experience, minus the fact I didn't own the company. It's when I was, in the doing the corporate thing. But I got transferred to take over two branches, and um, to make the story short, I really mismanaged the opportunity. I had put a couple of people in. I did the same thing. I put a couple of guys in place. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to deal with all these corporate idiots and do my thing over here. You guys handle everything. And it got away from me. And it kind of ate me alive, honestly.
Yeah.
It sucked. But it is what it is. We learn, we grow. And truthfully, that experience, I look back on it now and I'm like, I hate that I had that experience because I wish I would have been a better leader. But me failing at that, I know I'm going to be such a better boss and a better leader in my own company, as a result. So,
Yeah.
it
So is
is
that
what,
what you're planning on doing this year? Is taking on some employees and
yeah.
kind of trying?
I'm recruiting right now for a technician. Oh, are you still there, John or Joe? I'm sorry. It
Yeah,
says Joe on the screen.
I'm getting a couple other phone calls, but that's all
Okay.
good.
If
I'm on my phone, so it just
you let
came
me know
showing on
when
my
you need to,
phone.
yeah, you let me know when you need to get going. But to answer your question, I'm currently recruiting for a technician position right now. So the goal is to once we get the guy trained, and we're not rushing it. So as soon as we can get a guy trained and put into our culture, which we're such a small company right now, it's kind of silly to say that, but get this guy to be a part of creating this culture that we want going forward. It's going to get me out of the field mostly, not completely, of course, yet, but mostly. And I sure would have liked to have had him hired 4 weeks ago, but it just hasn't happened. And
Yeah,
then what I really need to do is like by June, I need to have my second truck going in order for me to hit my goal this year.
yeah,
And truth be told, June's too late. I've just started. I'm not joking when I said I needed to hire the guy 4 weeks ago. I kind of lost sight of my plan, and I'm just really behind right now on the revenue is where it needs to be right now, but like next month to hit my revenue target, which is let's see here, March is 38,840. Doing that with two guys and a trainee is honestly, I don't, it physically can get done, but it's going to be really difficult. So anyway, that's where I am. So by the time this year's over, I plan on having 3 technicians plus Caleb. So Caleb will
yeah,
be, his role will be crew leader, and then I'll have another crew leader in each of those guys with a helper tech with them. And that'll probably be the only employees I have this year. So then I'll do all, I'll be playing office manager, operations manager, and sales manager at that point. And then probably the first thing that I'll do, the first person that I'll add in 2019 will be like an office manager to help with all the administrative stuff, and we'll go from there. What I'm trying to do is sell myself into a problem. Unfortunately, I'm starting to succeed at that, so it's a real problem. But I wanted the revenue to be there, and then basically, and we take great pride in our service. Like we have like 82 5-star Google reviews now, and we've been in business for a year. Like we're killing it. We take care of our customers. We do the right thing.
Do you ask them? I don't mean to interrupt, but do you ask them after each job to go on and review you? Or
Yeah.
email them, or how do you do that?
Tell you what, you get my point on what I'm talking about, so we'll just shut that off. And it's funny, almost everyone asks me this when I'm talking with them. It's a very simple process. Now, Carlos, if you start watching this video, stop listening right now. I love you, bro, but you work in my market and you do not need to listen to this. All right. So Carlos is a buddy of mine that he's on the other side of Orlando, but
yeah.
Real simple. It's the system is this: when you sell the job, whether it's over the phone or in person, it doesn't matter. Now yours might be a little different just because of the way it goes, but you can still modify this to fit what you do. When I sell the job, the last thing I say when I'm getting off the phone, I'll be like, "All right, Mr. Jones, would you have any other questions for me?" And if they say no more questions, I'll say, "Great. Well, listen, I'm just going to leave you with two things here. Is, first off, I really appreciate the fact that you've used us. We're a small family-owned business, and when people give us work, you're literally helping change our lives. So thank you for that. And lastly, we have two goals every time that we do work for someone. The first goal is to do such a great job that you want to give us a 5-star Google review. And the second goal is to do such a great job that you want to tag me on Facebook and tell your friends and neighbors how great the experience was." And we do that. So I do that when we book the job. Then when we show up to do the work, whether it's Caleb or myself right now that goes to the front door, we knock on the door, do our little script of, "Hey, how you doing? We're here to do X, Y, and Z." "Okay, well, we're going to get busy unless you don't have any questions." "Nope, no questions." "Okay, well, I just want you to know I've got two goals today: to do such a great job that you want to give me a 5-star Google review, and to do such a great job that you want to tag us on Facebook and tell your friends how great the experience was." Exact same script. And then when the job's done, we've done the walkthrough with them. We've made sure that they're happy. They say, "Yes, we're happy." We say, "Okay, well, we're going to pack up the equipment. We'll be back in a few minutes just to settle up with you." We come back, take payment, get signatures, all that good stuff. And they say, "Well, hey, listen, looks like you're happy with everything. Would it be okay if I shot you a text message that has a link so you can leave us a 5-star Google review?" And everyone says yes. And not everyone does it, of course, but then we send them the link. And then I pay for a service that actually puts them in a follow-up sequence. So it'll shoot a text, follow up with emails. If they, as soon as they give the review, that service sees it, it'll shut off the follow-up sequence so you don't look like an idiot asking for more reviews after they've already given it to you. So, but that's it. It's really that simple. And the service that we use for the follow-up stuff is the least valuable. It is valuable, but that's the least important thing. A lot of people say, "Well, I sent them an email." It doesn't matter. Are you asking them 3 times before, 3 times before you're done on the day of the job? Obviously you have to do a great job working with them. So if you ask them 3 times and then you're just a, impersonal dickwad when you're doing the job, you're not going to get a review. So obviously you got to do a good job on the work and have a personality, but the key is doing that.
See, that's something I've been thinking about doing because all my work is commercial. So I don't have a whole lot of reviews online.
Yep.
And like when it's business to business, they're meeting with, I don't know. I just don't feel like they are interested in going online and reviewing us for some reason. So I've never really asked. So it's just like whenever someone just happens to do it, I'll get the review. But, I'll probably just start asking because business can still review me.
Absolutely. And just kind of spitballing with you right now. It's like, I do a little bit of commercial work, not a lot, but I do a little bit. And like I have a hotel that we do monthly window cleaning on and then annual pressure washing now. And, so like, I know the GM, he likes this, we do a good job. So of course he loves a vendor that does a good job. So after 2 or 3 meetings with him, I'm like, "Hey bro, do you mind leaving me a review?" And he's like, "Absolutely." So I just send him an email with the link. He does it. I think if I was like, if we waved a magic wand and I owned your business today, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to get reviews? I think I would kind of look at the relationships I have with those people, and I would start off with probably a phone call, or you can do like, I don't know, if, like a ringless voicemail, even that. If you have a bunch of customers, maybe the ringless voicemail, but one way or the other, I would do that and just say, hey, listen, we're a small family owned business. I always throw that out there because people usually are like, oh, and what would help us more than anything, it's not more money, it's not more anything, it's just if you could take 60 seconds and give me an online review, you're literally helping my wife and I chase our dreams. That's probably almost word for word what I would say. And then do a follow-up email type of thing, because they're all going to say yes.
Dude, I was paying Yelp $2,500 a month for marketing when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a bunch of reviews that were good, and I don't think I had any negative reviews. I had all reviews that were good, but I realized that like the math wasn't adding up and I wasn't getting any value from Yelp. So I decided to cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
They took away all of my reviews and gave me no rating at all.
I've heard that so many times about Yelp, and it's like,
yeah,
I never want to use them unless the only way I will is if it's just like it hurts my company if I didn't, but I've heard that, and I'm just like, man, what they're the freaking mafia. They're the they're the mafia on that stuff.
And they create you a Yelp page on their own.
Yep.
Like you can't, your business is just on Yelp. You don't go on there and make it. So I don't know. It's interesting. But I also wanted to ask you, I've been thinking about getting more into pressure washing this summer. I bought a new pressure washer.
Okay.
I don't know if I bought the right one. I thought it was a good idea at the time, but after seeing your setup, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should have saved up a little bit more. But I got one of these DeWalt's 4200 PSI. It's like 4 or 5 gallon per minute machines. But
as long as it's 4 gallon per minute machine, you'll be okay.
Okay. Do you use a lot of chemicals and detergents and stuff on it?
Yes. So when you're doing like pressure washing, let me kind of define a couple of things real quick. So if we're doing like flat work, like concrete, sidewalks, driveways, and things like that, you're using high pressure. Yeah. If you're doing a home or a building, like tomorrow we're doing a commercial building, same process though. You use what they call a soft wash method. So I don't know if you're familiar with soft washing, but at the end of the day, instead of using pressure to clean it, you use chemicals to clean it. So you take water, bleach, and soap mixture, and we won't get into all of the details on how you mix them, but water, bleach, and soap mixture, spray it on the house. You let it dwell anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. You rinse it off.
And you just run that through your machine.
No. Okay. So here's what you want to do is there's your machine probably came with a thing called a chemical injector. It probably came with one. You run it through the chemical injector, which prevents it from ruining your pump. So like if you put all of that stuff into a bucket or a big tank and then ran it through your pump, the bleach will ruin your machine in no time because the bleach is just super, super, super corrosive. So you use that chemical injector. So what it does is once the water leaves the pump, it just runs the chemicals through your hose. And probably what would be a good idea if you want to get into it, just, we've got emails, and I never got that email from you actually, but we've got a way to chat here. So hit me up, and when we're not boring everyone, I'll help you with some tips. But the DeWalt machine, it's technically not something you would want from a professional standpoint, but a lot of guys have made a lot of money using them. It's just going to be something that you might need to upgrade in the not so distant future. But a 4 gallon per minute machine, I've been using a 4 gallon per minute machine all year up until about 2 weeks ago, and the one I upgraded to is only 5.5. I didn't even get a big like 8 gallon minute machine, so it more than enough for you.
Yeah, I've done pressure washing in the past, and I would just rent a machine from Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really offer a whole lot of pressure washing. It was just like whenever a customer would ask for it.
Yep.
And then last year I bid on this big project for like a self-storage place, and they had like all these huge buildings. And you may have seen my video on it. I told everybody that I got half the deposit up front, and I just went out and bought the machine, basically just to do that job. And I've used it a couple times since then, but it's something that I kind of want to get more into this year. So that's why I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah, no, listen, I love it. Pressure washing has been window cleaning is great because it's high margin. Pressure washing, there's a lot of it out there, and so it's a nice balance for us. We have the high margin niche thing, and then we have the maintenance. Everyone needs it, and still good margin, type of business on the side. So, highly recommend it, and I'd be more than happy to help you out on the technical side of things. So,
have you ever thought about doing like car dealerships and washing their cars and stuff?
Well, I mean, the thoughts crossed my mind, but we were talking about going deep, not wide, a little earlier, and
Yeah.
that would, if I did the cars, that would kind of start getting me away from like what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah.
I do have a car dealership. We do every 4 months, the windows, because they all have a lot of glass, and I'd like to get more accounts like that, but I focus mostly on residential right now. So most of my focus is resi. When I get more into commercial, it's going to be more into building washes, exterior building cleaning is really what I want to get into. I don't foresee me doing the car thing, even further down the road, just because it's kind of different,
I met this guy. He was a general manager at a car dealership, and he went out and bought his own truck and his pressure washer and stuff. And he said he got a couple accounts. He said just on Wednesdays alone, that was the only time he worked. He could just do like a little route. And he said just doing Wednesdays alone, he made like $80,000 a year.
I believe it.
And he was trying to sell. I was thinking about buying his truck. I didn't end up doing it, but we talked about it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think that's the problem with that. And I'm not saying there's no way to do it right, because people will tell you the problem with window cleaning and pressure washing, like I do, is the same, and you've just got to learn to overcome these things. But I think in something like that, it's kind of like storefront window cleaning, where you're not going to have a lot of loyalty from your customers, because they really just kind of don't care. They just want the windows done. And if a guy will do it for 50 cents cheaper, they're going to go with him. And that's the part where I think your attrition would be so high. I could almost see it where it's like there's just going to be you're going to hit a ceiling on how much revenue you can do, because no matter how much you sell, they're always going to drop off, because there's always going to be some cheap dude coming in, behind you. That's my thought on that. But people say that about what I'm doing, and I'm doing pretty good on my, like my average ticket price isn't like at $1,000 a pop, but right now my average ticket price is around $550. And you talk to other guys that are pressure washing in Florida, and they'll be like, "You just can't do it here. Everyone's so cheap." And I'm like, I don't know. I'm figuring it out. It's just, I see a lot of little bitches out there, and they're victims, and I'm just the guy that, like, I'm just going to refuse to let other people control my destiny. I'm going to go after what I want and get there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was good talking to you, man. I got to get out to this job.
Okay. Well, hey, let's do it again. So,
okay.
Yeah, let's do it again. It'll be fun. And, yeah, anyone that watched this boring ass conversation, I'm sorry, but congratulations for making it to the end. And, we'll keep in touch, man. So
cool, man. Hey, can you link my channel in the description?
Tell you what, yes, I will, but I can also, if you want, I can Dropbox you the video link. I'll download it and send it to you, and you can even upload it to your channel if you want to do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Cool, man. Talk to you soon.